So in this episode, we're going to talk about a new movie from Sam Raimi called Crawl. Let's get started. Yes, that's right. Sam Raimi, the creator of the Evil Dead trilogy, has a new movie coming out called Crawl. And before we get started talking about this movie, let's take a look at the trailer.
The state of Florida has issued a Category 5 hurricane warning. All residents must evacuate immediately. Grab your families, your loved ones, and get out.
Dad!
We won't be able to come for you.
Dad! Dad! Oh my God! What happened?
Are you hurt?
I'm fine. Hello, can anybody hear me? I'm trapped with my father in our house in Coral Lake. Please send help.
Really?
Wait, down here.
Pete, you hear that? In less than an hour, we'll be underwater!
Banging on the pipes blurs their senses.
I can distract them for you. You got this!
You need to go now.
I'm not leaving you here. Come on, you son of a bitch!
So obviously this movie takes place in Florida, in which a hurricane comes. They go into a house and they're trapped in there with an alligator. Yeah, an alligator, not a crocodile. There's no crocodiles in Florida. There's a big difference between alligator and crocodile. You can tell from their snout or their nose. Now what I find really interesting about this movie is, well, this is basically where I'm going with Ocean of Horrors. This movie is more of a realistic sense in horror, more so than some far-fetched sci-fi shit like Michael Myers, Jason, or Freddy Krueger. Again, it's pretty damn realistic looking at the trailer anyways. Of course, things could change and become a lot more sci-fi in the movie, but according to the trailer, it's actually pretty damn realistic because when hurricanes come through, especially in Florida, what happens is it drives all the gators out of the lakes and they start going wherever all the flooding is. And yes, there have been times where gators have been inside house. Now, we don't have basements in Florida, but like I said, when there's flooding, they do get inside of homes. And even when there's not flooding, remove hurricanes altogether. I mean, when I was 8 years old and first moved to Florida, there was always like an 8-foot gator sunbathing by the damn mailbox. Every time I went out there, he's just chilling. And if you get anywhere near the mailbox, he just goes, and he sticks his damn teeth out at you. Now again, this is Florida, so every single lake just about has gators and snakes. That's just Florida, the way it is. So you get really used to them. It's a very common thing. They're very dangerous and fast in the water on land. They can still go like 25 miles an hour, but you just zigzag and they get confused and they just give up eventually. But going back to when I was a kid, just to put this into context without the hurricanes, my house was maybe, I don't know, 100 feet from a lake. And so were the other houses. They were actually closer to the lake. There was houses that were maybe 50 feet from the lake. And what they would do is they would chain their dogs up. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. 3 houses chained their dogs up near the lake. And what happened to 2 of those dogs, the gator came up and ate one. Of course, the dog had nowhere to go, which is kind of effed up, but it is what it is. And the 2 neighbors still continued to just left their freaking dogs there. So the next day or the next week, the other dog got eaten, and finally the 3rd owner brought their dog in. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. But just to talk about that for a minute, even if you remove the hurricane aspect where this movie goes into, gators are everywhere, man. They go up into everything. There's some even that have been caught in swimming pools. Yeah, they'll go right up into your swimming pool because usually in Florida we have screens, and now, of course, Florida law has a restriction where you have to have some type of net or gate around the pool. But they still, if there's a hole, they'll go in. They'll start swimming in your damn swimming pool. You're talking about 7, 8 foot, 9 foot gators. I mean, it's pretty hectic, especially Lake Jessup, where they catch any gator in Central Florida that's over like 8 foot long. They throw them into Lake Jessup. So Lake Jessup is one of the most heavily populated gator-infested lakes, probably in America. I know it definitely is one of the top in Florida. It's probably the highest in America, if not the fucking world at this rate, which at some point we'll be taking the jet ski into and hunting us some crocs. Not to eat them, but we're just going to take a look at them and chill with them. You know, get a little closer look at those crazy bastards. But this movie really has me intrigued. I'm really interested in this because, well, as a Floridian, it's a very common thing. This is kind of like watching Jaws the night before you go to the beach for the first time, which someone did to me when I was a child. I'm not going to name any names, but you could probably limit it down to about 2 people. It's pretty fucked up. So you're sitting on a surfboard freaking out. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that this could do the same thing. You could have a flood, be wandering around in a boat or whatever, because a lot of people have paddle boats and shit here. It's a very common thing to have canoes, surfboards. So you always have something to get on, but you always will see a gator. So it could kind of create the same aspect in a sense in the terrifying realism kind of world where a hurricane happens, flooding, you're out there trying to get out, and now you're freaked out about the damn gators. And more than likely you will see a couple swim right by you. Crow will be released on July 12th. Now, if you want to see me do a review on this movie, because yes, I will be going to see it in the theaters, give this video a big thumbs up because 100 likes on this video get you a review on that movie. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification box if you don't know about kick-ass shit such as this. And be sure to give this video a big thumbs up because, again, I'm not going to do a review unless there's 150 likes on this video. Don't forget to join Discord because that's where we're going to kick-ass time in there. And don't forget to check out my new series that's coming, Ocean of Horrors. Again, where I will be exploring some realistic, real-world horror shit. Yeah, and you all are going to join me for the ride, whether you like it or not. And as always, I'll see you next time.